So I would recommend too, just kind of trying to learn as much as you can about the radio business in general. As Alan said, you want to be a well-rounded person, but you also want to be, just really well-rounded in terms of actually being in your building. You want to know how kind of it all works. And I would say, meet as many people as you can and tell everybody what your goals are so that they can kind of help you to get there, but you can also put yourself in a place to get there. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Do you think it's necessary to have like a degree in broadcasting?
No, I think you can learn about your craft that way. But any education is good education, whether you're self-educated, street smart. If you take a broadcast school, go to a community college or a full-blown four-year college, it doesn't matter. It really comes down to who you are as a person and as a personality. Anybody can learn how to run the equipment. You can learn that from being taught, self-taught. You can learn it from schooling. The more formal schooling you get, the better over time, I guess that is. But if you're street smart and you want to go learn hands-on, that works too.
I would say that it definitely isn't mandatory. It doesn't hurt at all, but neither of us have a college degree in broadcasting. So.
That answers a lot of questions.
Right?
Which part of broadcasting do you feel should be filled with more younger talent? Like, do you think there's like sports broadcasting or morning show is lacking backing of new personalities coming into the industry?
I think I can't personally think of an area where I think more younger talent needs to be. I just think I think a lot of people come into wanting to go into radio and think, I can do that. That's easy. Anyone can talk on the radio. And so then they don't want to put in the effort. And I think that's why you get a lot of the older people that have been in the business for a while, because they put in that effort and they earned their way in there and they're going to stay in that job. And I think a lot of younger people maybe get discouraged by that and think, well, that person's there. I'm not going to. There's an opportunity for everybody. You just got to be willing to find those opportunities.
How do you... let me figure out how to word this. What do you feel is the hardest part of the job that might limit someone from becoming a personality besides the underestimating it aspect that you just mentioned?
People would be limited by having a lack of personality. They would be limited by not expanding their knowledge and on things happening in the world and being contemporary, and people having the ability to form relationships on air with their audience. That's the hardest thing that we do, taking our personalities and applying them to the radio. That's the hardest part of the business. The rest can be learned.
You've really got to be able to open up and not be afraid to kind of let people know who you are, and even like your perfections, your flaws, all of it, because that's what's going to endear your audience to you. And I think that would be the hardest thing, is if you're not willing to be open, then you're going to only hurt yourself.
If you were to work with anybody in the industry, who would it be?
Alan Fee.
Ashley Ryan.
That's a good question. I don't know. I'm pretty happy right here, honestly.
Well, that's always good.
Yeah. And Alan's obviously happy with his smartphone. I'm just kidding.
Very, very happy.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, there's a lot of great broadcasters out there, but it's you want to be. It's not even necessarily about the working with a certain person. You got to be also on the right station in the right place, and so for us right now, we're both in our home area, and so it's kind of a dream come true for us to both be on a morning show here in the Seattle area where we're both from, and then working with each other. So it's not even just about working with another person. It's about the entire,
environment.
Exactly, the entire environment.
If you were to have any celebrity come into the studio, who would it be?
Ryan Reynolds. And he doesn't have to talk. I just want to stare at him.
I totally agree with you. I am seeing Deadpool, today, even though it doesn't come out, but I'm going to see it.
He's such a hunk, as they say. Alan?
Uh,
I do have another one, too. Charles Barkley, because that would just be endless entertainment.
Oh, boy. That's kind of a tough one. I think whoever the current president is at any given time.
Ooh.
The sitting president, whoever that is.
That's always smart.
Yeah, that's good. Anything else?
If you were to do one crazy thing in your life and had no repercussions for it, whether it be breaking FCC rules on air or just totally destroying all the equipment, and then the next morning they kind of just poofed back to where how it was, what would you do?
So something radio related.
Yes.
Okay. Man.
I would like to take open phone lines for 4 straight hours and talk to people about anything that they wanted to talk about with no rules and be able to say anything I want.
That's a pretty good one. I do know Alan would also like to break that microphone and then just have it fixed tomorrow
Yes.
because it kind of moves on its own. I would, yeah, I think it'd be kind of fun to just be able to swear up a storm for a couple hours and then be okay with it.
I totally agree.
Talk like a trucker and then tomorrow come back and we're all okay. Yeah, I'm good with that.
Sweet. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.